Turn on the camera. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Agina. Hujambo? Oh, okay. I see. I had a virtual background. Sorry.
Yes, Paul Peter.
Jambo.
Jambo, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What about you?
From abroad.
From United Kingdom of Kisumu.
Oh yeah. How is everybody doing?
We are fine. We are fine.
Good.
It's summer this side.
Yeah.
It's a little bit windy.
Yes.
It's a little fine.
Great. Good to see your face. How is my friend Pipi Hombe?
Hey, hi.
How are you doing?
Hey, I'm okay. I see you have a haircut.
Good to have you this afternoon.
Thanks a lot. And I see you have a haircut.
I always do.
Nice to see you. And I've seen Agina also, eh?
Yeah, Agina is in.
Yes, Pipi, how are you?
Okay, I hope you are enjoying the heat in the UK.
Yeah, it's a little bit windy.
Yes.
We are approaching autumn.
Okay.
Is it hot or cold?
Okay. No, it's not cold. It's just windy. It's a little bit. It's still hot and windy.
Okay, that's good. But you settled.
I'm settled. I got my ID. So I'm settling down slowly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to see you and all the best.
Thank you.
You got your ID.
Yes.
So you are have you become a citizen or what?
It's on the process now. Maybe in 5 years' time I'll be one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. We are also doing fine.
Okay. How is Nairobi?
Nairobi is the weather is fluctuating. Sometimes cold, sometimes it's just fine. The other day I was at home and the weather was perfect. At home it's perfect. It's neither cold nor hot.
How is COVID over there?
And COVID, people don't even know about it. People just hear about it.
even actually, it's something funny is that people only put on masks when they're going into shops.
Yes.
Or they're going to public places, but when you're walking on the street, you don't even put on masks.
Yeah. Back at home, people don't put them on. They put them for the police when they are moving in centers. But most times there is nothing much to do with COVID. I was at the chief's place, a certain chief. Nobody has mask on, including the chief. And
but they should not be putting it for the police. They should be putting it for their own safety.
Yeah, but it's not much. I think even the climate back at home is not very favorable for those COVID things. Back at home, people hardly get homa. People get other diseases.
Yeah, I was home before I came this side for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And of course, people are only putting on masks when they're going to the markets. But in the village, life was normal.
Yeah, life is very normal. So this afternoon, I'm very interested in this topic called branding. I've been talking about it. I wrote about it in my second book, and the more I talk about it, the more I hear other people talk about other things, and I would like us to just ponder over it this afternoon. Welcome, Dr. Mutuma. I hope you are able to hear me. Yeah, and Edna, welcome. And Edwin, karibu sana. So I'd like us to start by asking, what does the word brand or branding bring to our minds? What does it bring to our minds? The word branding. Yeah, somebody can help me. Edwin, would you help us know what does the word branding bring to your mind?
Thank you, Paul Peter, for the opportunity. I think branding is an identity, it's a business identity.
Business identity. Yeah, that's nice. Any other view, Rotarian Agina? What does it mean to brand, or what does branding bring to your mind?
I'd like to say maybe it's, I just go by what Edwin said. It's more or less like identifying myself with an item. Yes.
Suppose somebody doesn't have a business. Does he have a business branding? Good now, good one. Suppose I don't have a business. Do I have a business with the word branding? Does it affect me in any way? Yes.
I think even it does to some extent, because you're a brand on your own.
Yeah, that's it. You see, the misconception that people usually have is a brand only has something to do with the business. If I don't have a business, then the word brand doesn't really apply to me. But that's not the truth, because what is a brand? Generally, a brand is that which people think about you, or whatever they perceive you to be. The public image. As an individual, you are the first brand. Yes, you are the first brand yourself. And so, even if you are going to grow a business and build a business, the idea is that you are going to build it based on the brand that as an individual you already have. If you have if your brand is that which people don't believe in, then it doesn't matter what you tell them. It doesn't matter whether you are starting a business or not starting a business, because a business is unknown until you make it known, and it starts based on your personal brand. Occasionally, even recently during the discussion of the reproductive health care bill, I hear people talk about, I'm a born again Christian, I'm a born again. I don't know what this means, what brand they are trying to communicate to us. Does it mean when somebody says born again, what do we expect of such people? What should come to our mind? Yeah, what do we think about them, or what is it that they want us to have in mind? Yeah. Sometimes part of what people think is, by saying I am born again, there is some degree of respect or degree of trust that we are going to put towards them. But this is not necessarily true until we see that they are consistent. Whatever they are preaching, whatever they are saying is consistent with what they are doing. And so a brand is not much of what you tell people. It is something to do with what people themselves view or perceive you to be. It is what they perceive about your organization, about your company, about your church, about your club, whatever it is. There is that public side of it, and that which people believe about you is the brand. So brand has less or little to do with what we say. It has little to do with our logo. It has little to do with anything else, but the person we are and the promise or the comfort that people get when they hear about us, when they hear about our names. So if we don't take care of that, then it means we are not building our own brands. Because as an individual, you are the first brand, whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you know it or you don't know it. Everything you're doing in your trade, in your day-to-day activity, is building you as a brand. And if that is done well, then your brand grows to become stronger and people start believing in it and they want to relate more and more with you. So there are only two elements here: a fake brand or a genuine brand. Fake brands try to imitate the genuine ones. And that's what happens with many people, most young people try to imitate other people. They want to be like some other person. I talked to some people sometimes back, I think last year. We were helping them to develop their own identity, as Edwin was saying. And they were talking about, my idol is so-and-so, I would like to be like so-and-so. And I was imagining, you see, the best you can be is, if you are trying to be somebody else, the best you can be is a fake version of that person. It's not the original. And if you want, the only original you can be is that of yourself. A Guinea can only be a Guinea. You cannot be somebody else, cannot be me. I cannot be Hombe. I will only be me. And the best I can be is the best version of me and not somebody else. And that is the way we build a brand. If we imitate, that's why personally, I'm not a fashion guy, because it means somebody sets the trend and then I follow the trend. I don't believe in that. I therefore don't follow any fashion. I choose my own fashions. I'm more conservative. And so I believe that when people just pick to follow every fashion or every trend that comes, it means they're becoming apes of a particular brand. So we must choose to be authentic, to be genuine, and to be induplicable, so that nobody is going to be able to get a better version of us than we could get for ourselves. When we have strong brands, more people are likely to buy us and buy from us. And then they will be able to become our own ambassadors and spread the message about us. If we don't become strong brands, then we are likely to struggle more trying to sell our idea, our agenda in any particular sector. And so being authentic is one of the best things each and every person can do for himself or for herself. You do not try to be somebody else. And that is why, as an individual, you want to be, you want to have your own identity. This happens even when people are privileged to have, maybe your dad was well-known, built a reputation, and so you can ride on that. But by the end of the day, people want to know you as you and not your dad. They want to distinguish you. Will you measure up to that, or will you be better, or will you be less? And therefore, we as individuals must know that each and every one of us is building a brand. We are building our own brands. You are building your own brand. I am building my own brand. And if I build it well, if you build it well consistently, we are going to be able to reach that which we want to reach. We are going to be able to live our dreams. And so we do not want to be a fake version of somebody else. We do not want to be imitators. I like telling this story that when I was in college, at one point we wanted to buy a radio. I was taking a friend of mine to buy a radio. And so we did not want to spend a lot of money in the app market. We went down the streets and we were looking for cheap outlets. We got into one shop, we got good bargain, we picked a radio. It was a Sony Mac. Now, going back home, going back to college rather, we tried to tune it, tried to make the best out of it, but somewhat it was just making noise. So at one point I chose to open it and find out what was happening inside. And I realized that even the knobs were not functioning well. In fact, the fine-tuning knob was connected to nothing. And you could not dream of at one point having it functioning well. That was a fake version of the Sony. Fakes can sell, but just for a time. They can deny the original of brands market, but just for a time, because they cannot imitate forever. So in order to be a strong brand, you must try to the best of your ability to be authentic, to be genuine, and to be able to stand on that which you believe in. Now, it's easy to hide ourselves. It's easy to imitate or to pretend that we are somebody we are not, but we can do it just for some time. And over time, remember, truth cannot be hidden forever. Over time, we get to be known, and people start realizing that we are not that person which we purport to be. We don't really stand on that particular value that which we try to portray. And so whether you want to be original brand or fake brand depends on whether you have a dream, whether you want to be somebody who is believable, whether you want to build a strong brand or you do not want to build a strong brand. So each and every one of us has the capacity to write their own public image. And there is no possibility of having two separate images that on one end, for example, like we were talking about being a Christian, on one end, somebody tells you I'm a born again Christian, and therefore they expect you to have certain connotation about them. But on the other end, you see what is happening or what they are doing, and you realize that these two are quite incompatible. And so each and every one of us want to be able to say what they mean and mean what they say, and actually perform and do what they are doing, what they say they are doing. So the cost, when it comes to costing, the cost of original brand will be a little higher because they believe in themselves. But the cost of an imitation, an ape brand, will always be lower. But they still struggle to keep that same brand. And so we must, each and every one of us, aspire, because each one of us is created uniquely. We are all unique. Nobody is the same as the other. We must start by having our own self-confidence and build our own brand. And maybe that starts from the point of a name. What is in a name? What comes to our minds when we hear certain names, or when people hear our names? What comes to their mind? Is it someone they want to believe in, or somebody they despise? Yes. When people hear you, when people hear your name somewhere, what do you think comes to their mind? Welcome all of you, the people who've been joining us. Geoffrey, you can unmute and tell us, what do you think comes to the people's minds when they hear the name Geoffrey Otieno? Is it somebody they want to follow?
Yes. No, thanks, Paul Peter. Yeah. So, well, some of my colleagues tell me at work, when they hear my name, what comes to their mind is work. It's just all about work.
Okay. Is it a name to be feared or a name to move closer to?
I think it's too serious. They want me to relax a bit.
So that becomes your branding, you see. So people get to identify you from that point, and that becomes your public image. Sometimes what we think people know us for is not really what they know us for. Sometimes what we want people to know about us is not what they know about us. Not long ago, I think last year, after going through certain difficult times, we were trying to solve certain problems for our estate. I was taking a walk in some of the organizations, some of the government institutions. And as we were walking with my colleagues, I asked them, what type of person do you think I am? Am I tough? Am I soft? Am I aggressive, whatever? And I was surprised. Enough people see me as very assertive and aggressive. But on my end, I find myself quite soft. And I believe that I'm soft. But that's not what people know about me. So most times our struggle is to find out, is it true that is what people know about me exactly what I want them to know about me, or is it something else? You see, my friend Mr. Ciro Japheth, what do you think people know about you? Do you think they take you to be the person they want they want you to you want to be known for?
They call me serious Ciro, so I don't know whether I'm always serious.
Yeah, maybe you keep talking to them about results. They don't see you smile.
Maybe.
Yeah. So is that the brand you want to keep, or there is something you think you want to improve on?
I can maintain it.
If it's serving you fine, that's okay. Yeah. So the idea is we should be building that brand which will bring us more value. And our names are our labels. And that's why some people, more so actors, you'll find that they have stage name, which they are known for. For example, when people talk of Papa, everyone thinks about Papa Sherandula. And that wasn't his real name, but that became his label, and somewhat it brings in certain pictures in people's minds. When people talk about there could be several other Koinanges, but when we talk of Koinange or Jeff Koinange, we know the person. When we talk of Uhuru Kenyatta, I often tell people that I have a friend called Kenyatta. But when I talk of Kenyatta, people don't think about him. They think about Uhuru Kenyatta. So what does your name, when people hear your name, do they confuse it for somebody else, or they will still remember that is you and exactly what you want it to mean? I remember in one of the schools where my children go, they use the name of the principal to scare the children. I'll tell Mr. So and so. You see, so the name is used to scare people because the image that comes to their mind is that of strictness, punishment, and things like that. So each and every one of us must try to shape our names and our images in a way that we want it. And that's why, for example, I use the name Otieno Paul Peter. That becomes my brand name. If I'm anywhere where I really do not want my identity or my brand to be, I will use another name. I'll, for example, just write Paul Otieno. There are so many Paul Otienos. You see, if people Google me, they Google. I try to fine-tune Google in a way that when people Google, they will find me. They Google Otieno Paul Peter, they'll find Otieno Paul Peter and things that should relate to me. So the question also would be, if people Googled your name, they heard of your name somewhere and they Googled. Recently, you heard of this appointment in the Ministry of Tourism that was revoked on social media. Why? Because of the public image, whatever that lady was posting on social media. When people Google your name, when they try to find the background or they are doing background check about you, what is it that they are going to discover about you? So we must be deliberate in the person we want to be, whether it's on social media. You cannot be, I have a friend who puts different profiles, that this is for propaganda, this is for politics, and this is now for my professional self. It becomes difficult to be three people at the same time. You want to be the same person when people find you on Facebook, when people find you on LinkedIn, and when they reach your website, if you have one, which is a good thing, you should be having one where you can tell your own story. They find you and they find some consistency. It's not that the person they find here is different from the person they find in Twitter. It's different from the person they met in church. And so you are different people. You don't have a brand. You will not be believable at any particular time. So we must be deliberate in building our brands. I love saying at some point, I actually put this into one of my writings. Let me just try to share this. That whenever I want to install an application in my phone or computer, I take time to go through the reviews in order to know what other people what other people who have installed it say and consider its rating. This is the same thing that nowadays happens whether people are looking for employees to absorb or looking for a company to engage and things like that. This is because I do not want to end up with a hoax, something which is not what it claims to be. The same thing happens with me whenever I receive friendship request on Facebook. So unless I know that person who has sent the request, I have to take time to read their timelines. And that is just the way I do things. And I consider what is in the name. I consider when somebody sends me a friend request using a name that I don't consider to be a human being, I get suspicious. What is it that they are looking for? Who are they? What is their real identity? And something like that. So it's something that each and every one of us want to always take very seriously. The question is, how can we build the brand that we want? How can we build the brand, that person which we want? Because if we build our own brand, and as I said, brand is not a logo, brand is not those things that we do, the marketing gimmicks, putting flyers and whatever. Brand is that promise that people know. When you buy, for example, LG, there is something you expect because there is something you know about LG. The logo will just tell you that this is LG, but it is not the logo which is the LG. In fact, people don't consider the logo in order to choose what they want to buy. They want to relate with that particular company. The same thing happens when they come to you. They don't really consider your name and things like that. They will consider the person you are. And that's why they try to interview you and relate with other people, ask other people, do background checks to know what you really are. So how do we build a brand that we want? I'd like to hear brief contributions. Then I can share briefly again on some of the steps that I have. Yes. Linian Chimuma, linearly. Would you say something? How do you think we should build a brand based on what we discussed so far?
I think branding just depends on what your goals are, what you want the world to see you. I concur with your perspective that we have to be consistent, because consistency is key. Like now I'm trying to kind of reorient myself online. So for example, I had Facebook for a long time, I think when around 2008. And then what I used it for was very different, but I did go off Facebook for a while. So now I was getting back on social media and getting back to organize myself around the internet. And it's very important for me now to make sure that I'm consistent, because for me, I don't care if it's a social media or a website, because of the position that I'm in, which I'll not disclose currently, but you can learn about it at some point. I have to be very consistent, because the people who look for me, they'll be looking for my professional perspective. They'll be looking at what is she up to, what is she going through, what is she, and this is because, anyways, because of the positions that I'm kind of looking for and what I'm looking for my future. So I'm kind of branding myself based on the moment, but also the future, what I hope to be in the future. So I know that what I build matters.
Great. And building a strong brand takes time. By default, it will take time. And so we must not be in a hurry to cut corners. And by the end of the day, we end up with a fake brand. So great. I love that word, consistency. This I usually talk about, for example, politicians. They lose our trust because today they say this, tomorrow they say another thing. contradicting the same thing they said the previous day. Consistency is a big deal when it comes to building a strong brand. And that's why I take it, it should be important for all of us, even if you are putting your profile online, the same photos that you are putting, if you have a profile photo, it should be consistent, not here you looking like a shamba boy, and this particular profile, you're looking like this and this one. You should be a consistent person in words, in deeds, and everything, so that people know you for something that is what you want them to know about you. Thank you very much, Lillian. Yes, yes, Rose, you can just say that which you are saying. Rose Fina, your contribution. Rose Baraza. I don't know whether you're able to speak. Yeah, Rose is saying branding demands commitment to continual reinvention, striking chords with people to stir the emotions and things like that. So there is a commitment element into it, because if you are not disciplined and committed to building a particular brand, you're going to change your goalpost. And I've seen this in businesses where people come and do what we call BOP, a business opportunity presentation. They will tell you all sorts of things, more so when they want you to buy their product. But after that, they don't follow it up. And therefore, the running cost becomes much bigger, and they lose customers. They lose integrity because of that lack of commitment to deliver on your promise. We must always be committed to that. And I see Felix. Felix, what is your contribution on this element of branding? What can we do to build our brand, to improve? Felix. Probably seeming to have an issue. So a few things I wanted to share with you. One is we must be deliberate. We must know the goal, as Lillian was telling us. What is our goal? What is our end result? What do we expect to achieve? And remember, if we already know where we are going, and we know the type of brand we are going to build, and we know already it's going to take time, like somebody says, it takes 20 years to build a reputation, but just about 2 seconds or 5 seconds to ruin it all. We will be consistent, we will be committed into building it because we already know it, and we build deliberately. That is number one, getting to know the person we want to become. And I love relating it with getting to identify your personal mission in life, because you do not want to be a fake. You want to be consistent, you want to be original, you want to be the person whom you intend to be, and your story should be told in a consistent manner. This person was this type of person, he was able to do the following, he was helping in the following, and things like that. So good to know what is your mission in life, what is your goal in life. And remember, as you grow in your brand, your value grows, your market value goes up, and your market value, as your market value goes up, even your success becomes much easier. So we must be deliberate. Number two, we must check on our values and beliefs. You see, for example, if somebody believes there is always a shortcut to achieving a particular end, there is going to be a trouble in building a believable brand. So we must check on our values. Do we have values? And this is where now organizations come in. When we talk of personal mission, even an organization, if you are running a business, you are running an agency, you are running a club, you are running a church, what is the mission for that particular organization? There is no brand you're going to build if you can't relate it with the mission of that particular organization. If it is inconsistent with that, then there is no way it's going to stand strong. So we must get to appreciate the mission for that particular organization, which should be related to our personal mission also, in order to be consistent. Then the values, this is where the values for the organization comes in, and most of the times they pick from our own personal values. You see, what do we know you for? Do we know you as somebody who can take a bribe to or give a bribe to achieve an end? Do we know you as somebody whom, if you are given a road to construct, we will get a half-baked product? Do we know you as somebody who will always deliver on everything that you say, or we can't trust whether it will be done? So those values, do you believe in truth? Do you believe in integrity? Do you believe in consistency? Do you believe in discipline? Or do you believe in the end justifies the means? Do you believe in the winner takes it all and things like that? So all these values you must introspect, and you cannot cheat about your values. I've seen this in businesses. I was involved in the first direct sales business, and we were building business based on relationship. And people would build very well, and then along the way, as greed came in, greed is one of those things that will always destroy your reputation. Greed came in, others would start misleading and swindling money from other people. And by the end of the day, they lost their organizations because it builds a wrong reputation about you, which is your true branding. It is not what you are telling other people. So we must check on our beliefs, and these are things we can change. If we've believed before that it doesn't matter how I achieve the end, as long as I achieve it, the end justifies the means, we may want to read and introspect and start thinking that if I do it the right way, it will last. Nothing good comes easy, as Margaret Ogola said in her book, River and the Source. A good thing worth every single struggle, and it takes time. So the other thing, and this is related to that beliefs and values, is the character, the person you are. It is not just your name. It is not your color or appearance. It is the person you are. If your character is flawed, there is no way you're going to be trusted. You can only be a brand, a strong brand, if you are trusted. Being a strong brand means a trusted brand, a brand that can fetch higher value in the marketplace. Having a weak brand means nobody wants you. You've got to always struggle harder for you to get somebody to just endorse you. Maybe you will get endorsement from just your close friends or family members, but public, somebody else who doesn't know you, who just interacts with you on professional level, will hardly endorse you. So we must check what is our character, and a strong character will be able to build a strong brand. A weak character will build a weak brand. That's just the way it is. I often tell people I don't want to do business with government or counties, because they will want me to pay something to get it, and then finally even pay something to be paid, and all those things. That is too much, and I still have a reputation I'm building. I don't want shortcuts. I will go the long way. Yeah. Now, another thing about character is that little thing that will distinguish you, whether you are building an organization or something else. What is it that will distinguish your product from the other? What feeling does it draw in other people? You need to think about this from the beginning. Yes, when people relate with me, what is it that will be different that they can't get from somebody else? And that's why we started by saying that we are all unique and gifted uniquely. Whether we are athletes, whether we are crafts people, or whether we are in the same trade, we can give different in experiences, different flavors. Just like chefs can cook the same ugali, but the taste will be different. That's the way we are. So you must find that which makes you unique, that which makes people want to gravitate around you, that which will attract people towards you, because as you become a big brand, you're becoming a leader. People, more and more people trust you, and that is what determines how big you are growing. We must retain our authenticity. We must love what it whether it's called being odd, be the odd one out, we must get out of conformity, doing things the same way other people are doing them, doing the same things people are doing. We can do things differently. And that's why, for example, in our organization, Live Your Dream, we try to be, our uniqueness is that simplicity and interaction. We put the ideas in a simple format, in a way we don't pick book ideas and throw them. We try to make it simple and practicable. That is it. Simple enough that you can understand and you can put into practice immediately. So that being odd one out, whatever sets you apart from the rest will make you unique. A friend of mine called it mistakology. Sometimes you can do something that people think it's a mistake, but that is what will make you be memorable. At some point, I was reading another book. Somebody asked, what is the formula for success? He was told, dress in red and work hard. So why dress in red? Later, we learned that when you dress in red, amongst other people who are not being seen, you will be seen from far. And your boss or the people who are concerned will be able to identify you. And then you are working hard. You see, you are building a brand. So that's one way. The other thing is competence. We must aim to be very competent in whatever we are doing. Otherwise, we are not going to be able to build a brand that people want to relate with. If it is athletics, if it is football, if it is sales, if it is accounting, whatever profession, whether you are a teacher or whatever, you must aim to be the best of that particular one of the best. You are not going to compete anybody. By that, I don't mean you compete anybody. And that's why we were talking of that uniqueness. But you must always aim to improve your standards so that people can always expect nothing but the best from you. They are assured that by relating with you, they are going to get more than they are bargaining for. So we must aim to practice harder, learn more, so that we keep improving and becoming competent. The reason some athletes are known than the rest is because they are maybe the scorers. They are doing much better. They are well known. They've become more competent. The reason they know about Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, the reason people knew about people like Denis Oliech, Bobo Gola, whatever, Mariga, all these people have excelled. They've been competent. And if they are competent enough and they add with good character, a strong character, they are brands that will always somewhat be able to sell. And a product they endorse will always sell. And that's why people will call them to help them market a particular thing. People will call them to endorse their product and something like that. So as we are building our names, as we are building our brands, we must aim to be authentic. We must aim to be unique. We must aim to have something that sets us apart. We must build our character to be strong enough that people want to relate with it. We must build our competence level so that we keep improving. And that's what we call personal development. That's what we call personal growth. If you are at the same level where you were last year, where you were 2 years ago, you cannot expect to go up. You cannot expect to earn more. That is the way it works. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to pick comments and questions. Yes, Felix says he has a problem with the mic. What about being authentic? I believe it is important to be authentic. You should show people. Yes, that is what I was talking about, Lillian. If you are not authentic, you are trying to be an ape of somebody else. You are not trying to be you, but your effort should be aimed at becoming the true you. I love saying that even marriages break because they are built on fake brands. That whatever somebody displays, the moment you cross the bridge, you realize that that's not the person they are. Yes? So it was just but a business presentation. We need to be authentic. We need to be truthful in everything. We are often told, there is a quote I love from Buddha, that 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. So we can try to cover the truth, but over time it's going to be known. If I am being pushed by my big contacts to take a particular job that I am capable, soon or later people are going to realize that I am not capable if I am not capable. Yeah, so it doesn't matter who forwards your CV, it doesn't matter who endorses you if you do not have the competence enough to prove the same. And if you are not consistent in building yourself, you are not growing, you will start to come down because your true self is going to reveal itself. And that's why you need commitment. You need to be within that framework of personal mission in order that you always have that engine, that ability to keep going even when the going gets tough. And that's the way it is. Yes. Any question? Karibuni,
Yeah,
those people who joined along the way.
Paul Peter.
Yes, PP Hombe.
I just want to hear a comment from you in regards to the public figures.
Yes.
Recently, I was listening to the interview for our good CS, Matiang'i.
Yeah.
He said that the image you see in public or TV and what his family or his social friends or church friends can tell you about him is totally different. So does it mean you have two brands, a social brand, official brand, and which one should I pick?
Good question. Thank you very much. My personal view has always been, you cannot be two people at the same time and succeed in both. It's not very possible. You see, what happens is people just don't display certain aspects. You see, let me give a good example. A couple of years ago, probably 3, I was learning choral conducting. I was learning how to conduct choirs, how to direct music. We were being taken through by a certain professor from Florida State University. It was a scholarship through the US Embassy here at Kenya Music Conservatoire. And he told us that, you see, personally, I am a very introverted person. I am an introvert. I don't like speaking. And this was quite amazing because he didn't look like that. But then we asked, how do you manage to coach us and to teach us this well? Then he said, whenever I pick it, it's because I have to do it. It's my job. I know I have no choice, so I choose to do it. Now, there are such people. They will do something in public because they think it is their job and they want to protect their names. And so if Matiang'i has to be tough, to be seen to be tough, in order to achieve a certain goal, he will do it because it is his job. But his true self is still the same self. So the easier way, and what I always see or say is, be the person you are. If your value is consistent, and this is what we mean by public image and branding, your values need to be consistent with what we see, with what you say, with what other people say about you. Because people get to know you from what you say, what you do, what other people say about you, what they perceive you to be. So these things are the ones you want to be consistent. The idea that what maybe his wife or his family sees him to be would be different is just that at some point he's a father, he wants to be friendly to children. Just like I love the image of Apostle Paul. When he goes to these particular people, he speaks their language. He goes to these particular people, he speaks their language and relates with them. It's just but a personality. You're just trying to adopt to the environment. What language do I speak to children? What language do I speak to my family? And that comes with leadership. You tend to know the audience, you tend to know the people you are relating with, but your identity is the same. If you are tough, you will be tough in public as well as at home. If you are a disciplinarian, you will not be a disciplinarian when you are in public or in church, but then when you are at home, you are different. In fact, the true you is the person you are when nobody else is considering, when nobody else is seeing you. Yeah. when nobody else has an idea what you're doing, that is the real person you are. And so it's always good to grow in that character so that it is something that is consistent. And that's why at one point you will not find yourself sliding back, because you've always grown to be an authentic figure.
Okay, thanks.
That is what is happening. That's what I would say of the public figures. And that's what I advocate for. Be the person you are. The other example I love is when I was in Form 4, I realized that my fellow pupils, I call them pupils mostly, or students as people like, they love to do things in pub when the teachers are there, things that tend to display the good side of them. But the moment teachers are away, they do other things. And these included dancing. They don't like to dance when everyone is singing. They are good people. They will only talk about God. They will talk about hard work, whatever. But the moment teachers are away, they do something else. I said, this is not the person I want to be. I want people to know me for whom I am. And this happens even when you are getting into marriage. Better let your partner know you for whom you are, not to discover that you are a fake brand. You are not the person that you purported to be. I don't know if that makes sense, my friend.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Okay. What are the key traits that are essential in branding? Thank you very much for that question, Mr. Ciro. A key thing to me in branding is character, consistency, competence. The most important is character. Yeah, you see, most times people think branding is about marketing, something that people know, but when you are in hiding. The other day, we saw our senator, Nairobi senator, Sakaja. People have been talking about social distancing, obeying the rules, and all these other things. And then what happened is he ended up disobeying the rules, and then even tweeting that he was never arrested and will never be arrested. And then the following day we see something else. Now that, even if people ranked him high, that brought his reputation down. You see, so character will always ensure that you are within your boundaries. You do not cross your boundary. So we can do nothing much if we don't check on our character, because whether we hide like they were hiding, somewhat it's going to come out, maybe when under the influence of something else, or just somehow it's going to come out. So we must check on character. Beyond that, the rest should be able to fix themselves. Character, then we work on our competence level, authenticity and uniqueness. Thank you very much. Any other question and or comment? There are people who have not spoken anything. Welcome, Faith Mugo, David Toek, long time. I see Nancy, I don't know Nancy who. I'm willing to pick a question or questions at the moment. For people who came late, not a big deal. This thing is on YouTube from the beginning. David, any comment? Yeah, so even for people who want to be in politics, you will build your reputation better if you are known to be consistent in what you say and what you do. Yeah, Edna is asking the difference between advertisement and branding. Advertisement is a different thing. It's media campaign. It's what people want to popularize something. You want to popularize it. You want to make people know about it. Branding is actually a long-term thing. It's a lifelong thing. You are not going to brand today and then you are stopping tomorrow. Advertising, we can do an advertisement today. The following day, that advertisement stopped. We can do a billboard somewhere that is making advertisement or marketing or something. or we can do a radio campaign, we can do a TV advertisement, but that's not branding. It can help in branding, but it's not a brand. It's not branding in itself. Yeah. Yeah. I hope that makes that explains the difference. If we choose to be doing advertisement and we think we are branding, no. And like we said, if we promise people something, for example, personally, if I say I'm going to call you, I call you because I'm building a brand. I'm building that reputation that whatever I say, I do. But advertisement, people can advertise. I remember when I was working with a certain organization, that was an ISP, internet service provider. Our salespeople would go and talk about some other things that were not true. But then when it comes to us in the technical side, we realize that this is not accurate. They promised a particular bandwidth, which we are not providing. So the guy is complaining and we say, who told you that we give this? That your salesperson came here, I signed the check, this is what they promised, and something like that. So that's not the type of brand you want to build. Consistency, character, strong character, that is, and something that sets you apart, and that is authenticity. Yeah, competence and things like that. Thank you very much. I hope that answers the question. Yes, Nancy, good, karibu sana. Yeah, and any other? Thank you very much, Murithi Anthony, for joining. So it's already 4. I just want to end it, but if somebody has a question or a comment, I'm willing to respond before we end it. Faith, any comment? Good. In building your brand, we can always offer consultancy, working with you from day to day in order to help you even put yourself online and help you build a brand that will grow and things like that. We offer consultancy through our organization, Live Your Dream Enterprises Limited. And we also provide hosting and things like that. For people who may want to check my book, it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. Just a minute. Let me just show it to you. Then I can close. I have 2 books on Amazon. One is Live Your Dream Enterprises. No, not Live Your Dream, but Live Your Dream in 7 Ds. And then the other one is called the Making of a Symphony Orchestra. Yes, Murithi Anthony, you can speak. Your hand is up.
Okay, thank you so much, Paul Peter, for the opportunity. I just wanted to say that I was following you on YouTube, not that I've just joined, and thank you so much for the input on branding. It was really wonderful, and thank you so much for the input. You've really brought out something that, of course, like maybe for those of us who don't know, I'm an MC. I do emceeing, and I know one of the things that one needs to be very particular about is that aspect of branding. So thank you so much.
Karibu sana Murithi. Karibu, and good to have you. Any other comment? Any other comment? I'm just showing you the Kindle application, which you can download on your phone. I have written extensively about this element of branding. So those are my books. The first 2, that is The Making of a Symphony Orchestra and Live Your Dream in 7 Ds. So this particular one, if you go to page 56, it starts to talk about, because you cannot be a leader if you are not building your brand. It starts to talk about a brand. And it talks extensively about that all the way and mentioning what is in a name, yeah, things like that. And you don't need to leave anything to chance. It's important to consciously and deliberately take steps to define your true self and what you should be known for. And all these, yeah, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. That's a quote by Warren Buffett. And then I love another one here that somebody said, you too are a brand. I want to finish with that. That you too are a brand, whether you know it or you don't know it. In whatever trade you are in, you too are a brand. And whether you like it or not, that is the truth. Otherwise, thank you very much. And I'm very happy to have hosted you this afternoon. So there are those two books. You can always, they are just a few hundreds, like 300 bob in the Kindle. But hard copy, I don't have any except, well, I have this one for leadership. So that one you can always get from me. Otherwise, thank you very much and God bless you. If anyone has something to say, you are welcome. Otherwise, I have not much to add for now. The next thing I will be taking people through what it means to be online. If you want online presence, what does it take? The technical and the soft part. And I'm going to announce that probably in 2 weeks or something. We should be having something like that. Thank you very much.